what's going on, guys? So today we have another problem to share with you, and it basically a request from a student. So I try my best to fulfill the task, and I hope that it will be really helpful for even for those who have been looking at my channel and following along me. I think so this is a very good way to learn different ways to different problems. I think so this video really helps. It's an off the cuff video, but really helpful for you. So here we begin. We have the problem, which is to develop our program to input the marks of 10 different subjects of a student through the keyboard and find out the average marks, minimum marks, and maximum marks obtained by the student. Assume that the maximum marks that can be obtained by a student in each subject are 20. So proper input an array, calculate the sum and average, finding minimum marks, finding maximum marks, and by using functions. So I believe that this task is really helpful for you guys. So now we begin. Let's write some code. Right, guys, so we are back to the coding section. So there we begin. So you know the way how to make a new project, like click on the new and click on the source, sorry about that, click on new and click on project. Simply just click on the console application, see project, and click OK. So I already have that, I don't want to create it. So very simple, we have to create first the header files which are required for the input, output, and printf. So standard input output dot h and stdlib, which is the standard library dot h. So there we have the main function. All right, so I think so there's just few problems that these parentheses are basically really much I've been using Sublime Text or Notepad++ for last 2 years, so I'm really much you can say addicted by that IDE or softwares. There are various platform or Visual Studio, so it just give me a little bit difficulty. So sorry for you guys just to have an incorrect syntax. So there we go. And we create an array of size 10 because we have the 10 students we can enter the same time, right? So printf and simply just type enter marks of 10 students out of 20, because we have to enter 10 subjects, and if the marks exceed to 20, it means that the student is the marks are not basically acceptable. The marks are basically it's out of 20. We can't exceed it to 21 or 22 or basically greater than 20 is not acceptable. All right, so simply scanf %d for %sign array. All right, so first we have to create, we have already created an array. Then I want a for loop. Basically what does it do? That from I equal to 1, I is less than equal to 10 and I plus plus, and all right, so it's a good way to just identify what's going on, right? So scanf from 1 to 10, it will enter the marks of a student and the index of I, which is basically 1 to 10, right? So it will enter the 10 students marks of 10 students until the condition becomes false. All right, so let's back to the, I think so we have to now just simply create the functions. All right, so we have to create function for sum. All right, so so we create a function named integer type sum array elements. We create an array here, an empty array, and all right, int from sum is starting to be 0, and we have the average of data type double. You can have floating, no problem with that. And then we have a loop which begins from 1 definitely to 10 and increment I plus plus. All right, sum is equal to sum plus the array which we have declared here. It is basically that array, and sum is equal to sum plus a array of I, and then we have to simply print the sum of 10 users %d. All right, this will basically just sum the, and now we have to calculate the average as the sum our number of students. All right, and then we have to simply return this average. All right, so we are done with this sum. Now we have to find the maximum marks of a student. Filter max marks. Right, so we have the max marks. All right, we have created another array inside. You know the basic. I just want to repeat you again how to make a function. First we have the data type, then we have the name of that function, and inside we have to pass the parameter. All right, so it's a very basic way of all right, just I forget to initialize the, all right, that's fine. And sum, all right, so integer I max for loop I to be 1, and it will continue to 10, and I increment. All right, so if condition, if all the data which is inside which is inside our array, for example all the marks of the 10 users, if it's greater than max, all right, which is the you can say it's a variable which, if all the marks is greater than max, then what it happens, it will save the marks into the max variable. So basically what it checks that if all the record which is from loop from 1 to 10, it will check every record. If it's greater than max, then what it happens, that it will save the maximum mark student in the max variable, and we just simply return max. All right, And same for the minimum, almost the same procedure in spite of just putting this less than mark, and it's good to have min. So I have min over here as well, return the min as well. All right, so okay, so filter min marks, and also the different function name which is to be min marks. All right, I think so the functions has been done. Now we are back to the main function. All right, so inside the main function we call inside the main we basically define the functions. All right, so how we define the functions, let's see. This is the end of the for loop, and then it's an end of the main, right? So there we have our function. For example, for the average, we define a variable name to be avg average is equal to the name of the function, which is some array element. The name of the function, you can see here, it's in some array elements, the very same name here, some array elements. All right, so it's better, I just want to copy if any spellings are wrong or something like that, it will correct automatically. Some array elements, and inside there it's a parameter named array, and yes, that's fine. All right, then we have the other three, minimum and max. Define a variable to be max subject, and it's for the minimum subject. So first I have to initialize average to be floating point, and minimum subject, maximum subject, and I think so that's fine now. So inside this, I think so we have to printf also. So average of student average marks of subjects to be is percentage f, or point to fractionals. I already defined you what does it means, percentage point to f, and the name average. So just copy this same thing and paste it twice, and max marks. All right, max marks, minimum marks of subjects so we have max dash, so whatever we have stored in this variable, like average, you can see average, max subject, and minimum subjects over here also, minimum subject. All right, and also we need to change the data type to be percentage d, and this is for the f because it was floating. All right, so I hope that we are done with everything, but I want to show you another very important thing, because it explains us that the marks must be not more, greater than 20, it must be less than or equal to 20. So I have a condition I can apply here, like if the marks greater than 20, then we can print F. Sorry about that. TF. Yes. Marks are under 20. Sorry, it must be less than equal to. Alright, so yes. Marks are under 20. New line. Alright, so else I have a habit of just writing a quick in a clean mode, so that's fine. Okay, so if the marks are less than 20, yes, marks are under 20, that's fine. And else I just want to copy. Else no marks are not correct. Mark exceeds to 20. All right, I think so, and it must exit it if it exceeds to 20. All right, let's check out, and I want to override my. Now we haven't. All right, so oh yes, I forget to pass here the prototypes, right? These are called functions prototypes. All right, so the first one wanna be sum dash array dash elements. I don't know what's going on. Alright, some array elements and the arrays same for the max marks and same for the minimum subjects. Alright, so I just want to change those names as well. Min second one will be minimum subject, minimum marks. All right, so what does it do? Why the function prototypes are important? Now you can see there's basically the declare The minimum subject was not declared in the scope, max subject was not declared in the scope, and the sum array elements was not declared in the scope. So this might be the error. That might be the way, I think so, where I can remove my errors. So it's still giving me an error. Alright, if I want to pass here average and save that one, max, oh yes, that might be the issue. Alright, max test subject was not declared in the scope. Why is that? What does it? Okay, another issue. Name of the array is not the A, it's an ARR, you can see. Same here, and it's not the max, it's a min function. Alright, save this. Now you can see there's some reduction in the errors. In function int sum array elements. Okay. Max dash subject was not declared in the scope. In function sum array elements. Declaration of I. Oh yes. So that's fine. Max dash subject was not declared in this scope. Max dash subject. Oh yes. Alright, so undefined reference to undefined reference to win main. Why is that still? ID return 1, oh yes, return 0. So let's see. Number 18. Oh, int main. Alright, so now you can see one more thing you can add up here so that you can view in a nice way that after the for loop I have this printf \n student percentage 2d \n di. So alright, semicolon. Now we just simply put 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now I put 19 to be the maximum marks of the subjects and to be the minimum. So now you can see that. Alright, so that's fine. The marks are under sum of 10 user, all the values which I have just entered. That's fine. Average is 57 divided by 10. Definitely 5.7, but that's not the issue. Basically, max marks of the subject is 57 and the minimum marks of the subject which is 1. Alright, I understand one more thing, that why it's giving me wrong maximum marks, because I haven't put equal to 0 here, and now you can see it will work fine. 12, 13, 14, 12, 11, 6, minimum to be 3, 6, 7, and I remember that the maximum we want to be 19. So now you can see everything works good. So marks, some of the 10 users are 102, and the average marks of subjects is 10, minimum marks to be 19, and min marks of subject is to be 3. Just for to looks better, um, right, maybe that's fine. All right, now you can see the work. Yes, you can see it exceed to 20, so it just exit from the from asking the user to enter the values. So you understand. Now it's look clean way, right? So the 20 marks, average marks of students is 4, sum of 10 users are 45, and minimum marks to be 1. Okay, so marks are under 20. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so that looks good. So the sum of 10 users are 47, average marks of subjective 4.0, minimum marks, and again. Okay. So I hope that you guys understand most of the things from there. So I just want to repeat, you understand why I have here the function prototype, some errors about the scope, and afterwards very simple. I think so this what checks is just sum the all the elements which user enters, just simply add up it, and here it will check that if it's greater than 0 for all the values, if all the subject, if it's greater, if 20, basically all the elements which user enter, it's greater than 0, it will save in the max variable from the array of all the elements, which is basically looping from 1 to 10, and same for the minimum mark, just only the difference of the um, less than sign and here greater than sign, and everything is very nice and cool. And now you can see we just simply have to um, the name of the function, it can be any variable just to show in the printf statement, and the name of the function, and inside that there is an array, which is basically the input array for the elements. And right, so I hope that you guys understand most of the things. That's what I can conclude, and that's what I